Hi, my name is Lewis with Rossman Repair Group, and today I'd like to discuss how much Apple cares about their users, how much Apple cares about you. And I'd like to start with a story that begins on July 7th about a stolen laptop. Now, I'm not a kind of guy that is judging people based on their race, their sex, or anything like that. But I do know when something sounds fishy. And just once I decided, you know what, let me not be a paranoid piece of shit. Let me just fix somebody's computer because they bring it in and it's broken. I have very strict standards for my clients, and the reason I have very strict standards as to who I take in as a client is because we treat clients like family. We don't treat them with specific policies and standards or like any other customer. We treat everybody who comes in here like family. And it's hard to treat people as family when they understand that and know how to take advantage of it or manipulate you. So somebody calls me at 10 o'clock on the night of the 7th saying, you know, he found a computer and he doesn't really know how to make it work. And he didn't do anything bad, he just found it. And he doesn't really sound like a guy that can afford a $3,000 Retina computer based on the lack of sentence structure, the lack of vocabulary, and also there's the fishiness of him calling at 10 o'clock at night. Anyway, all that aside, I say, you know what, I don't care about that. Just bring it in, and let's see what we can do with it. So he brings it in the next day. And when he brings it in, he tells the receptionist who's there that his friend from the UK gave it to him, but that he left the password on it and he can't get in contact with him. What can you do? The receptionist takes it in. And again, not judging, let's turn it on and see what happens. The technician turns it on, beep, 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 takes a picture of it. Okay, at this point, yeah, I'm judging. Fuck you, you are a thief, and I want nothing to do with this computer. Now, people are telling me to do things that I don't really feel comfortable doing. People are telling me that I should sell this display assembly on eBay, change the serial on the motherboard, put it on Craigslist, and tell this guy, sorry, the police took it because Find My Mac came on and it was stolen. And I know how to do that. I have changed serial numbers on logic boards before. We will order a motherboard for a customer for a discontinued computer that is used, and that motherboard will have a different serial on it, of course. And this customer bought programs that will only work with the serial number of this computer. Now, say what you want about morals and ethics. Here's what I think. I think that if you buy a computer for $2,000 that is less spill-proof than my $600 fucking Lenovo, that it's okay if I put your serial number back on your computer that you paid for when you're paying me $400 for a new motherboard. I know what chip I have to replace to do this. I know how to do it. And I can easily scratch the serial number off of the bottom of the computer. People are telling me that because I'm one of the people who knows how to do this, that's what I should do. No, I decided not to do that. And there's a little voice in the back of my head going, oh, conscience, conscience, when have you helped us before? When have we been in a better situation because we listened to you, conscience? Can you bring up any one event in the past 24 years where you've helped us? That little voice, he's just a little voice, so he gets ignored. I go down to the police precinct, and it takes about an hour and a half of my time before I'm told that since this happened in the other store about a few miles away, that this precinct can't help me get with this laptop. I got to go to that other precinct, and I don't have a car. I don't even have a bike at this point because my bike was stolen. I was stupid enough to actually lock it outside one time at about 3:30 in the morning because I had to wake up at 6. You don't lock a bike outside here unless it's somebody's sitting on your stoop with a machine gun. Anyway, so I get back to the store and I got a couple of angry customers now that are waiting because I left for an hour and a half and I only left one person here because I wanted to do the right thing. Now I got some pissed off customers because I took time to do the right thing. And again, people are telling me, why'd you waste an hour on that? And that little voice in the back of my head is getting louder and louder. Lewis, why are you listening to your conscience? Why aren't you doing what will make your life easier? Why aren't you dealing with your customers? Why are you listening to your conscience? When has your conscience ever helped you? Never. But I decide to listen to my conscience anyway. I finish a few repairs, and I call an Apple store. And I say, I have a computer here with Find My Mac on it. And Find My Mac is making it very obvious that this is stolen. Can you help me? I have a serial number. And somebody obviously registered this with Find My Mac, which means surely you can help me. They say they can't, and they hang up the fucking phone. That's it. No goodbye, no nothing. And that voice is starting to get mighty louder. Lewis, why are you wasting your time? Why are you listening to your conscience? Why are you trying to help somebody when there's nothing in it for you? Well, I decide to call Apple's customer service. And instead of getting the shit canned and hung up on, they at the very least tell me that they can't help me and thank you and have a nice day. Thank you and have a nice day is much better than being hung up on. So, at this point, that voice is very, very loud. And people are looking at me like, you are goddamn stupid for having put more than an hour and a half of time into this. Give the fucking thing back to the guy or just keep it and put it on Craigslist and call it a fucking day. No. I continue moving forward. So the next morning I get up at 7:30 in the morning and go to the 72nd Police Precinct, which, by the way, the people at the 72nd Precinct are some of the most helpful police officers I've ever had the privilege of meeting. They truly care about their job. They love being police officers. They love being detectives, and they love helping people. So my hat's off to them. They're amazing. I go there, and I can't get the thing to do what it does again. It just has a question mark folder. I also, there's no Wi-Fi there, so I can't even get it to connect to anything. So they figure, fuck this, they're just going to look through the list of burglaries or stolen products that may match this, and they're getting nowhere. Admittedly, I'm not going to insult the police, and I'm not going to insult the customers, but customers don't have their serial number handy when something gets stolen, and they often don't know the model number. Like, they have silver MacBook, on some of these reports. And again, not insulting the cops, not insulting the users, it's just the reality of life. Like, I'm a technician. I know that I have a Lenovo T520p with a 1080p screen and all this other crap. But, again, a lot of customers and police, they're just not looking at this. It's like stolen silver computer. So, they're not really getting very far. So they decide to call Apple. And they say there's a program like PIN or TIN or TIM, whatever the fuck it is. It helps them with identifying computers, and it helps them to speak to the manufacturers of these machines so that when they do find something, they can get it back to its rightful owner. So the lieutenant of the station calls Apple. They do not help him at all. Sorry, we cannot give you any information. We cannot give you any information. What the fuck? This person registered this computer with Find My fucking Mac so that if it got fucking stolen, the fucking police could fucking call them. And you're not giving them the information? This is where it gets to the point where Apple does not give a fuck about you. They really don't. Now, if this guy actually wound up getting caught, we took the computer back to the store, we called him, we told him it was done, the police swooped down on him, and they actually found out that he had been robbing this parking garage for quite a while, and he had stolen a lot of people's shit. So this was the end of that business model that he had going. And the customer actually came to my store because I told the police, I know he's going to have problems getting this computer to work. If he can bring it to my store, I'll happily fix it for him for free. And I did. And and that was cool. Honestly, the guy coming to the store with his wife and daughter and rejoicing over the fact that this thing came back to him, that made my day, and that was totally worth the 5 to 6 hours of misery I put myself through for 2 days. It was totally worth all the angry, spoiled little bitch-ass East Village customers. They were like, why isn't it done in 40 minutes when you told me only 40 minutes? It's 45 minutes and you're just finished. All that crap, that was totally worth it to see the look on this guy's face and to see the look on his family's face. And it really made me happy. But I digress. Back to the point of Apple. They don't care about you getting your computer back. It's not just about privacy. It's not just about not giving out their information to somebody who says they're a computer repair shop. It's not just about not giving out information when somebody says, I found a computer that says Find My Mac on it, here's the serial number. This is about them not giving the police the information to do their job. How did the police find it? The way I was told the story, and I don't know how much of this is true or how much I'm missing, they went to some Apple store, and the Apple store clerk said, listen, I cannot tell you whose computer this is. We cannot give you that information. We cannot give you that, something like that, where she's pointing to it on the screen while saying out loud that she can't give it to you, and don't ask, don't tell kind of shit. But you know what Apple cares about? They care about the same thing that Lenovo cares about, the same thing Logitech cares about, the same thing that Dell cares about. They care about their bottom motherfucking line. They don't care about you. They care about their bottom line. Do you think they give a fuck if you get your computer back using Find My Mac software? No. They care that you go to the Apple store and you buy another one. It's not just about the police. It's not just about privacy. It's not just about me. It's not just about privacy laws. The police had a stolen computer in their possession, and Apple refused to give them the information that would allow them, the owner of this computer, to get it back. And that's bullshit. In 2007, when the 15-inch MacBook Pro had a frame that had the hinges attached to it, instead of the hinges being attached to the backplate, like a sensible design, and they would all break at the bottom like paper clips. Was Apple there to help you? No. You had to come to somebody like me to charge you $150 to put this $80 part into your computer. In 2008, when the graphics chips were dying on all these computers, was Apple there to help you? No. You may argue, well, they were forced to after a class action lawsuit. You know how that works? They put an Apple Service Diagnostic Disk into your computer. If it passes or fails the test, they may or may not help you. But if the computer doesn't turn on at all, which very often happens when the graphics chip physically comes off the board, they won't help you because the machine can't run the test. The machine can't run the test because the chip is dead. Catch-22. In 2009, they released the unibody 15-inch MacBook Pro. It's not a unibody. It's two pieces that are glued together. And you know where the fans exhaust the air? Out of this boiling computer? Right onto the portion that's glued together. Was Apple there for you in 2009 when your computer fell apart? No. You had to come to somebody like me who would charge you $350 to take your computer apart and put this $200 part into it, which was just going to fail again because it's glued together. In 2010, when the A1286 model with the 2850 board was failing because the sensors would keep the fans at 1000 RPM when Final Cut Pro was running and rendering a video for 20 minutes straight. Was Apple there for you? No. In 2011, when the machine with the 820-2915 board came out, where you could have this machine out of the box, no dust, in a 70 degrees Fahrenheit home, and run something that brings it up to, let's say, 100% CPU, when it would throttle and slow itself down. Was Apple there for you? When the very machine that they're advertising you should use for this purpose, that cost $2,000, was throttling and functioning worse than a $300 Acer in Best Buy, were they there for you? No. When the iPhone 4 came out, this $600 phone that you could not hold in your fucking hand without dropping a call, was Apple there for you? No. They were there making excuses. They've been there making excuses for the past 6 years, just like any other company. I am sick and tired of hearing about the Apple experience. I am sick and tired of people pretending that Apple cares about them. It is as frustrating to me when somebody explains to me how Apple cares so much about their customers as it is listening to a woman who's being beat by their husband explain to me how he cares about her right after he beats the living shit out of her. No, he doesn't. A husband that cares about you does not beat you. And a cell phone manufacturer that cares about you does not tell you that you're holding the phone wrong. They don't. And they don't tell the police that they will not give them the phone number of the owner of the computer when they have it in their possession and it has Find My Mac on it and it is reported stolen. That is not a company that gives a fuck about you. Now you may say, oh, but they have nice design, and look at the stores and how they set up their customer service. You know what? You're entitled to that. And you know why you're entitled to that? Because it's $2,000 motherfucking dollars. When a computer like a Lenovo or a Sony or a Acer is sold in Walmart for $300, yeah, you get an experience that's one tier below. You get the high school dropout salesman that's scratching his balls as he's explaining to you how the computer works. Because you're paying $300 fucking dollars. But when you pay $2,000 for a computer, you're supposed to get a pretty box. You're supposed to get a bubbly saleswoman that smiles and says, how may I help you today? That's part of the package when you pay $2,000. That is not a company that cares about you. A company that gives a fuck about you would realize, hey, sorry, we released a computer and said it's made out of one piece of aluminum when it's really two pieces of shit that are glued together and made to fall apart as the boiling air exhausts right onto the glue. That's what a company that gives a fuck about their customers does. A company that gives a fuck about their customers does not tell them that, oh, well, yeah, we'll recall this computer if the chip fails, but only if we can run a test on it, and that test will only run if the chip hasn't failed. That is not a company that cares. Don't you dare spend 6 pages on a Mac Rumors forum thread telling me about how great the design is and how everybody is a hater. I open 15 of these machines a day. I see how shittily they're made. I see how shittily they treat their customers on a regular basis. I'm not going to say that Apple is worse than Acer or Lenovo or Sony or Toshiba, because all of these companies treat people like shit. But don't for a second try to convince me that Apple is any better. Don't act like they care. You should demand the same of Apple that everybody else demands of their own products. Do you know why I think that there is a lower satisfaction rate among people who own PCs than people who own Apple? It's not just Windows and viruses, because again, I can admit that. It's not just quality control issues. It's that people who own PCs and Android phones and Windows phones, they're okay with discussing their problems. we're okay with shitting on the manufacturer when they screw us. Whereas people who own Apple products, on average, when I read these forums, just from the let's say Mac rumors or Mac forums, these are a lot of people that really like to defend Apple when they've themselves been screwed. It's kind of like the argument that I heard a guy named Eli the computer guy talk about when comparing Europe to America, when he was saying you don't hear about all this in Europe. But it's because people in America are okay with discussing their problems openly. We as a society are totally okay with shitting on our politicians, are totally okay with shitting on our corporations, where you don't quite see as much of that happening in Europe. And I think that's what happens here. I want to hear more of you complain about the products that you get when they don't work. I want to hear more of you complain when you get a computer, it gets stolen, and the very application that the manufacturer recommends you use in case it gets stolen does not actually help you find the computer because that manufacturer won't give the police the identifying information. I want you to open your eyes and see that Apple doesn't care about you. I want you to open your eyes and start bitching about your Apple product. The same way somebody who owns a Lenovo bitches about their Lenovo product when something doesn't function. Do not defend the manufacturer. Do not say that the $2,000 computer was not designed to be used that way. When I see all over the website people editing Final Cut Pro and saying it's the most powerful Mac ever and running 97-track Logic sessions, and then you tell me that, oh, you're not supposed to use it in a 70-degree Fahrenheit room for more than 20 minutes at full CPU load. Bullshit. I want to see you complain the same way anybody else would. I want to see you complain when Apple tries to get you to buy a new computer instead of helping you find the old computer using their own software. I want to see you open your eyes. Please do that for me.